Hey everybody, it's Peter B. And this is an unprompted VR to Aaron at Value Vintage Cards, who did a impromptu VR to Jason at Everyday Card Collector. Jason did a video about Mount Rushmore of the Chicago teams. And Aaron did a unprompted follow-up video about Chicago teams cards. And the reason was because, well, the Chicago teams this year basically sucked. The White Sox were totally garbage in last place of all baseball. And the Cubs, they were in second place, but they were 10 games behind the leader in their division. So Jason wanted to feel good and show some superstars, megastars from past Chicago baseball, football, and basketball. And Aaron followed it up by also showing some megastars. Well, I'm going to stick with baseball. And I'm going to take them to a year where the Chicago baseball teams ruled the world. And that year is 1906. The Chicago Cubs had a record of 116, 36, and 3. 116 wins. That is the number one winning number in all of baseball. The Seattle Mariners did tie it, but still the Cubs and the Mariners own the record at 116 wins in a season. The Cubs had a great team. And I want to show you some T205 and T206s of players on the Cubs and on the White Sox that were playing that season. I might have some that were playing that season, but not on the Cubs and White Sox, and I want to stick just with Chicago. So let's start off with the Cubs. The Cubs pitching staff was led by this guy here, Mordecai Three Finger Brown. Here's a nice T205 showing him on the Cubs. Sweet Caparel back. He had a 26-6 record that season, 1906, with a league leading 1.04 ERA. So he clearly was the ace of the staff. And here is pitcher Jack Feister. T205 card. Sweet Caparel, a black Sweet Caparel. Feister had a record of 20 and 81. No, I'm sorry, 20 and 8. 20 and 8. And a not too shabby 1.51 ERA. So he was a very well second starter. And I also have Orville Overall. Honest. He had a record of 12 and 3 and also a not too shabby 1.88 ERA. So the Cubs had a great pitching staff. And here is a T205. And I also have him on a T206. Sweet Caparel back. You know, I think my focus being messed up. Let's take that out. Okay, and then fielders. We had Jimmy Sheckard in the outfield. This T205. Also an Honest. There's a T206, Jimmy Sheckard. Sweet Caparel. And Johnny Kling was the catcher. Beautiful T205 with a Sweet Caparel back. Harry Steinfeld also patrolled the outfield. Piedmont back. And Frank Schulte patrolled the outfield as well. This one has an honest back. And of course, they had a fantastic infield of Tinkers to Evers the Chance. I say T202. And here's a T205 Frank Chance. He was first baseman and captain of that team on a Piedmont. And I have a T206 of Frank Chance. And here's a Use It. That is a rare back. The only one rare is the drum back, which I do not have on a T206. And I got the Frank Chance portrait. That's a semi-rare back, Tolstoy. And Johnny Evers. And Sweet Caparel. So Chicago had a powerhouse of a team. They're still considered one of the best teams ever in Major League history. Went to the World Series no problem. And there they met, which made it a Chicagoan favorite of a World Series. They met the Chicago White Sox. So both Chicago teams are in the World Series. Chicago White Sox didn't have as much of a powerhouse like the Cubs, but they did manage to go 98, 58, and 3. Tops in the American League. They did have one very nice, good pitcher of Ed Walsh. Polar bear back. And Ed went 17-13 with a 1.88 ERA. And they had another great pitcher in Doc White. He went 18-6 with a league-leading 1.52 ERA. This is T205, a Hassan back. I also got him in a T206, Piedmont back. And then rounded out the pitching staff was Frank Smith. He went 5-5. And this is actually the normal Frank Smith T206 says Chicago American. This is a rare print because he was traded halfway through the season, 1909 or 10. So they came up with a new card that says Chicago and Boston American. Otherwise, the card's the same, just they added Boston. And it's a polar bear back. So their pitching was good. And like I said, they didn't have any superstars in the field, but they managed to play well. Here is Jiggs Donahue, who played first base. Piedmont back. And we got Lee Tannenhill. He played third base. Piedmont back. In the outfield, we got Patsy Dougherty. Sovereign back at T205. And I also have a portrait of Patsy Dougherty. Piedmont back. And then finally, another T206. Piedmont back. So the powerhouse Chicago Cubs with 116 wins meet the good playing Chicago White Sox with 98 wins. And they played a World Series, and the outcome was White Sox were the winners, beating the Cubs 4-2. So Jason and Aaron, I believe, Aaron, you live up near Chicago, and I believe Jason does too. And I think Jason's team is the White Sox. Yeah, your team sucked this year, but just think the glory days of 1906. Have a good day, everybody.